Let's pay homage to the Buddha, the fully enlightened one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I'm going to pay respect to the Buddha, reciting Pali stanza. Buddho bodhaya diti danto yo dhammataya sa. Dhammataya danto dhammante no vadaranaya sa. Nibuddho nibbanathaya dan lokatarananami. Lokatarano lokathumma ikosaya dasu phito mudo. Yo nago Buddha naga miro yadiya seinde atutta chin myaswa phayadi. Buddho thissa le kuro rain tho twin ti myan tormu bi phit yue. Bodhaya sa juthai ta thu bobolu ro kotu thin lin ti ja ba se chin chu nga lagaw. Tanto kuro ga bin yin chi tormu bi phit yue. Dhammataya sa juthai ta thu bobolu ro kotu me yin chi ja se chin nga lagaw. Tanto kuranga bin kilita upukhate nyin tormu bi phit yue. Dhammataya sa juthai ta thu bobolu ro kotu me yin kilita pu nyin ja ba se chin nga lagaw. Dino va tandaya navan garajango. Gutan thâu chao kuro ran yauk pi phit yue tha lien. Dharanaya sa kuro thatu chuthai tu ro nibbū tawan ma ve kando. Gutan thâu chao yauk ja ba se chin chu nga lagaw. Nibbū kileta pranibban vin san yuk te. Kuro ran e nyin tormu bi phit yue. Nibbanathaya sa kuro thatu ve ne lu ro pukhate nyin ja ba se chin chu nga lagaw. Dhammam ni sin li na dhamma sakko. Diti di karuna shi tha metta phit ho cha tormu khet ba pe i. Lokataranan lokathumma ikosaya dasu phito mudo. Dhannagan Buddha naga miro yadiya seinde atutta thu myaswa phyago. Nami namami ko nau nalong thong song pyaung pyo. Mangu sho yue gado myan no let song mo yue. Shikho nyo pa i myaswa phya myaswa phya. What are we talking about? So we are talking about how to break the bonds of Saṃsāra. So to do so, what do we need to do? We need to develop concentration. So after having developed concentration, you need to practice rupa meditation or nama meditation. Rupa meditation and nama meditation if you are serenity and insight practitioners. But if you are pure insight practitioners, you need to practice vipassana directly without having developed absorption concentration. You also need to practice rupa meditation and nama meditation. So yesterday I have explained all of you how to practice rupa meditation. Remember? So if you practice 4 elements meditation systematically, the way taught by the Buddha, finally you will be able to break down your body into very tiny small particles. As I told all of you, small tiny particles are not ultimate materiality. They are just as small as concepts. In each kalapa, in each particles, so they are called subatomic particles. In each subatomic particles, there are earth elements. So there are earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, color, smell, taste, nutritive essence, life faculty, and sensitivity. So at least there are 8 types of materiality existing. Small, tiny, subatomic particles. So, for living beings like all of us, so as we are living beings, in our body there are 4 kinds of small, tiny particles. Some are karma-born materiality, caused by our past karma. So now, to make all of you understand in an easy way, why can you see me? Why can you see me? Because you have eye sensitivity, right? Eye sensitivity are a kind of particle caused by past karma. That's why you can see visible objects. Now you hear me because of ear sensitivity. It is also karma-born materiality caused by past karma. And also, we smell, we taste, we feel tangible objects, we feel contact. All these are karma-born materiality. All these are caused by karma-born materiality. Because of nose sensitivity, we smell. Because of tongue sensitivity, we taste. Because of body sensitivity, we feel the touch. After that, we think about this, we think about that, because of our mind. So for about the mind, it is very wide. So mentality, they arise based on, mostly they arise based on heart-based materiality. They are also karma-born materiality. So these all are what you need to analyze when you practice materiality meditation. So when you see small tiny particles, you need to analyze ultimate materiality exists in those small tiny particles. So what I have told all of you, they are karma-born materiality, just some, not all. Now, some are female, some are male. So female has female sex decade kalapa. Sex decade materiality. So these are caused by past karma. Also for female, for male, may have may sex decade kalapa. It is caused by past karma too. So all these are what you need to analyze when you practice rupa meditation. So at that time, whenever you discern your 4 elements in your whole body, you will see very tiny small particles, subatomic particles. In your whole body, you just see this. So imagine your whole body becomes very tiny subatomic particles, which are not permanent, which are impermanent, which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. So Buddha instructed us not only to discern internally, but also to discern externally. For that reason, when you are practicing meditation, after discerning your internal ultimate materiality, you need to discern those who are sitting nearby. And those who are sitting in this meditation hall. If you discern 4 elements to those who are sitting in this meditation hall, you will not see men, you will not see women. Everybody becomes just small tiny particles. Imagine this whole room becomes just full of very tiny small particles. So at that time, you will stop arguing with the Buddha. So Buddha said, there is no man, there is no woman. Do you agree with the Buddha? Mr. Rana? Do you agree with the Buddha? Buddha said, there is no man, there is no woman.
No place to disagree with the Buddha.
Oh.
I do not disagree. I do not understand, but I don't disagree.
Okay. You're wise. But silently, there is argument inside. Okay? Because we dare not say, we dare not speak out. Because we have faith on Buddha. Even though we don't know, even though you don't know for sure, but you have faith on Buddha and the Dhamma and the Noble Sangha. Because of this reason, you didn't speak out, that you have doubt about this. According to the Buddha's teaching, all the ordinary people, they have doubt. Is it really true? There is man, there is no man, there is no woman. Here, gentleman. Here, lady. Why did the Buddha say there is no man, there is no woman? There is. But Buddha is omniscient, better to believe him. Okay? You try to believe in the Buddha, but all the ordinary people, they have doubt behind, for sure. What is the reason? Because you haven't seen them directly. So when you see small tiny particles, wherever you look with your concentration, whether near, whether far, whether people in Africa, whether people in America, whether people in Singapore, the whole world, under the light of concentration, everything's become the same, just very tiny small particles, which are rising and perishing rapidly all the time. You see no man, you see no woman. So you agree with the Buddha. You stop arguing with the Buddha. Silently, or anyway, you stop. Because you develop new vision at that time. Buddha said, I don't argue with anybody. I don't argue with this world. Only this world argue with me. Buddha no need to argue with anybody because he says the truth, because he knows the truth. But all the people in the world, they are blind. That's why Buddha said, Anda Buddha ayan loko. Blind is this world. This world is completely blind. Mr. Rana, are you blind? You have good eyes? Absolutely. You are blind. You have good eyes to see conventional truth. You all have good eyes to see conventional truth. But all of you are blind to the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is beyond your naked eyes. That's why the Buddha said, Anda Buddha ayan loko. Blind is this world. This world is completely blind. That's why blind people will argue with the Buddha, for sure. But only when you have developed wisdom eyes, at that time, you see what the Buddha taught. You see what the Buddha saw. So Buddha said, this whole world is made up of just very tiny subatomic particles. No man, no woman. No mountains, no trees. No living things, no non-living things. Only there are small tiny particles. So at that time, if you discern 4 elements to this table disappears. You just see small tiny particles instead. If you discern 4 elements to this belly disappears. You see just very tiny subatomic particles which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. If you descend 4 elements to the mountain disappears. You see just small tiny particles. So if you can analyze, ultimate materiality exists in those small tiny particles. You start understand what is ultimate materiality. So seeing the truth, what does it mean? Now all of you have good eyes to see the conventional truth. Even in this room, you see different people, different appearance, different complexion. Right? So they make you feel different feeling. Sometimes you like, sometimes you dislike. Sometimes you hate, sometimes you love. Different kinds of emotional feeling will arise in you because of seeing different people as different people. Different things as different things. So if you see conventional things, uncountable, as they are uncountable, you will feel emotional feeling endlessly. Because you see different things as different things. Different things make you feel different feeling. You suffer for it. Sometimes you are thirsty. You are very hungry for those living and non-living things. You are pursuing after them endlessly because you see them differently. As when time to time you fulfill the desire of the defilements endlessly. You fulfill the demands of the defilements because defilements enjoy very much these different objects. Seeing the truth means you see all the uncountable living and non-living things as one. Okay? So you see everything, just very tiny small particles. No confusion. You can make a decision firm decision. Nothing, just this. Okay? No confusion, no doubt. New vision has been attained at that time with the help of light of concentration or light of wisdom. This is necessary to know and see if you want to break the bonds of samsara. At least the first bond. So after knowing and seeing ultimate materiality, you need to continue practicing to know and to see ultimate mentality. As I have told all of you, in the realm where there are 5 clinging aggregates, mentality arises based on materiality. Now, you have thoroughly discerned ultimate materiality, both internally, externally. That's why at that time you are ready to proceed mentality meditation. So before explaining how to know and see ultimate mentality, let me ask you a question. We have a lucky Mr. Runner, fortunate being in the world. Mr. Runner, can I ask you a question? Are you going to give me an answer? I hope so. What do you think? Where does mentality arise? You can say as you please. Don't worry.
It's a reaction to what you're exposed to. It's your reaction to what you perceive.
Can you tell me where does mentality arise? Here? Somewhere here, in your whole body. What did scientists say? Yeah, don't you agree with them?
No.
Why?
This, you can't touch mentality. You can touch this. So, no.
No, you don't believe them. You don't agree with them.
No.
No. Is there any Singaporean who is going to help me? This question? Where does mentality arise? Materiality? Mentality. Where does mentality arise? Arise from materiality. Which materiality? Five faculties. 5 controlling faculties, you mean? 5 aggregates. Okay. So, we all have this knowledge. Scientists say mentality arises in the brain. So in the cerebrum and cerebellum and cerebrum in the brain. But when you can practice mentality meditation, you will get the opportunity to check whether mentality arises in the brain. You will see no trace of mentality in the brain. There is no trace of mentality in the brain. With the light of concentration, you can analyze, you can check. You will see just very tiny subatomic particles in your brain. There is no mentality at all. This is what we teach our meditators, our disciples, when they can discern ultimate mentality. No mentality in the brain, no trace of mentality. That's why this world is blind. Blind is this world. Scientists could partially understand about the materiality, such as atom, subatomic particles, subatomic proton, electron, and neutron. They are subatomic. But they could not realize ultimate materiality. But they understand the materiality partially. One day, this world will be destroyed. Sometime by fire, sometime by wind, sometime by water. Until the end of this world, scientists will not understand where mentality arises. Because there is no any instrument with which you can understand mentality. There is only one instrument. It is concentration that can help you see where the mentality arises and how they arise. That's why you can't depend on anybody, you can't depend on any instruments. You need to rely completely on your light of concentration to know and to see them. So now, I will make all of you understand where the mentality arises, even though you haven't developed concentration, even though you haven't penetrated ultimate materiality. I can make all of you understand where the mentality arises. So, when you feel angry, where do you feel? Here? Or here? Lady, when you feel angry, where do you feel? Here or here? Here? Not here? Okay. So when you feel fear, where do you feel? Here? Here. Very clear. Mr. Rana, do you get it? In the brain or here? Here. You fear here. When you are feeling proud of, where do you feel? No, here. Here. Next time, be aware. Okay? When you feel fear, where do you feel? Here. When you feel angry, where do you feel? Here. When you are feeling proud of yourself, at the time you feel here. Now, are you happy listening the Dharma? Where do you feel? Here or here? Here. Whether wholesome, whether unwholesome, all they arise here. Almost all. Except seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, tasting consciousness, and body consciousness. Except these 5 consciousness. All the other mentality, all they arise based on heart-based materiality. Now you are listening the Dharma. Among this audience, there are those who had already practiced mentality meditation. Now, with closed eyes, after having developed concentration, if they listen the Dhamma, they see here. When they hear the sound, my voice, it impinges to the ear sensitivity. At that time, mentality arises here. Very clearly they see. Even though now you can't see, now you hear the Dhamma, you hear me, at that time, mentality arises here. Whether you know, whether you don't know, they are arising and perishing here. But for those who have developed concentration, for those who have discerned ultimate materiality, based on rupa meditation, materiality meditation, if they continue practicing mentality meditation, they see mental process arise. Mental processes arise based on heart-based materiality, most of the mentality. So, and also, according to the Buddha's teaching, what I want to share with all of you, Buddha said, sense object such as sound object, visible object, the smell object, taste object, they impinge 2 doors at the same time. Do you get what I meant? They impinge 2 doors at the same time. So now you see me because this visible object impinges to your eye sensitivity. But my body doesn't enter into your eye. But this visible object can impinge to your eye sensitivity. At the same time, my visible object, this visible object, impinges to your mind or bhavanga. Okay? One object impinges 2 doors. Is it really true? You have doubt. No doubt. So, now I will make all of you understand clearly, giving an example of sound. So, since we were young, we have this experience. Sometimes, because we ourselves or our friends or our natives, maybe not in Singapore, I think, because Singapore is very disciplined. I didn't hear music in this country very much. Very quiet. Maybe every building can make a meditation center, I think. So if you go to Myanmar, so wherever you go, you will hear loud music. Okay? Sometimes people, they listen music, maximizing the bass sound. Okay? So, ding, ding, ding. At that time, what happened here? Ding, 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 right? So the Buddha said, one sense object impinges two doors. Sound impinges to ear sensitivity. At the same time, it impinges to mind door bhavanga. Very practical. Okay? So I can give with sound as an example, even though you have no concentration, because you all have experience in your life since you were young. One object impinges two doors. Now you see me, this image impinges to your eye sensitivity and bhavanga. It appears here too. You hear my voice impinges to your ear sensitivity and bhavanga, mind door. It impinges to two doors, eye door and mind door, ear door and mind door. So, how amazing the teachings of the Buddha is. Who can know this? Who can teach this? Only the Buddha, because of his omniscient knowledge. With visible object, I cannot make all of you understand. Only after having developed concentration and only after having discerned ultimate materiality, you will understand how the visible objects impinges two doors with the help of light of concentration. But for sound, you understand. This is what is happening with all of us. Not only with humans, but also with all the beings. Dogs which are around us, they hear the voice. At that time, in the same way. Sound impinges to their ear door, at the same time, mind door. It impinges two doors at the same time. So what happened? If sound impinges to your ear door and mind door, what happened? So I will share with all of you what my disciples reported me. The time they pay attention to the sound after having developed concentration, they pay attention to the sound. Sound impinges on the ear sensitivity. At the same time, it impinges on the mind or bhavanga. Okay? So at that time, what do they report me? Monday, when the sound impinges to ear door, impinge on the ear door, and impinge on the mind door, at that time, can I demonstrate what this reported me? Mr. Rana? Do you want to hear?
Yes.
Yes. So, what do they report me? They reported me Monday when the sound impinges, whether good sound, whether bad sound, whatever. It impinges to mind door here. At that time, what they see the mental process. One day, I see here, like this. Okay? Very quick, very, very rapid. I can't demonstrate the way as it is. With human effort, cannot. Only with the light of concentration, you will see. It is called mental process. In one mental process, there are many mind movements. One tit is one mind movement. Those who have studied Abhidhamma, is there anybody who have studied Abhidhamma? So I encourage all of you to understand ultimate materiality. Buddha taught ultimate materiality in the Abhidhamma. Okay? To understand ultimate mentality, Buddha taught in the Abhidhamma too. In the Abhidhamma, clearly explain about this. Mentality arises in the form of cognitive process. So that what I have now share with all of you, what the meditators reported. This is mental process. In one mental process, there are many mind movements. They are rapidly arising and perishing. Very rapid. They are rising and perishing quicker than ultimate materiality. So quick, very, very quick. So when you see visible object, also mental process arise and perish in this way. When you hear the sound, when you feel the smell, when you feel the taste, or when you feel the touch, or when you think about your past memory, whatever, good or bad, mental process arise, the way I have demonstrated all of you. So at that time, you understand that most of the mentality, except seeing, hearing, seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, tasting consciousness, and body consciousness, all the other mentality, they arise based on heart-based materiality. Now imagine, you don't see your body as your body. Your whole body you see just small tiny particles. Imagine. And then when you hear the sound, you see just mental process. Buddha said there is no man, there is no woman. There is only ultimate mentality and materiality. At that time you see no man, you see no woman. You see just nama and rupa, mentality and materiality. Now can you imagine what I am telling all of you? Your whole body, you just see very tiny small particles which are arising and perishing rapidly. Also when you hear the sound or when you smell, well, when you feel the touch, at that time, mental process arise. What do you see? You see man? You don't see. You see only nama and rupa, which are rapidly arising and perishing. So as the Buddha has instructed to discern both internally and externally, at that time, you need to discern external mentality too. But you can't discern individual external nama. You can't. But you need to do as a whole in general. At the time you will see that if you have wise attention, wholesome mentality arises. If you have unwise attention, you have unwholesome mentality. Now, are you happy listening the Dhamma? Now, do you know, in your mind, there are 34 mental factors which are arising and perishing, associated with wisdom and pleasant feeling. Okay? Wisdom and piti and jnana. So if you are happy, now in your mind, it is pleasant. You feel pleasant. It is because of piti. Also, if you understand what I am explaining, so associated with wisdom. If you are unhappy listening this, so no happiness, no piti. It will be 33. If you don't understand what I am explaining all of you, but you are happy, it is also 33. It is what you can analyze if you have developed concentration. As they are arising and perishing that you cannot grasp as a permanent entity. They are impermanent. They are impermanent. So if you want to break the bonds of samsara, if you want to make free from suffering, you all need to understand the true nature of all these ultimate truth. So we attach to both living and non-living things. We attach to living and non-living things. Why? Because we don't see them as ultimate mentality and materiality, which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. You see them as a solid form, like a permanent thing. Now, do you notice you're getting older day by day? But you are unaware of it. Because you look mirror every day that you see every day you are similar. Okay? Changes are very slow from the conventional point of view. But the changes are very, very rapid when you see ultimate truth. From the ultimate point of view, changes are very rapid. Whether young boy or whether old man. So every time, every second, they are arising and perishing, arising and perishing. Internally, you see arising and perishing. Externally, you see just arising and perishing. Past, in the same way. Present, in the same way. Future, in the same way. Wholesome, in the same way. Unwholesome, in the same way. From the ultimate point of view, nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. This is the knowledge that all of you need to try to attain if you want to break the bonds of samsara. But without concentration, consider impossible. You need the light of wisdom. With light of wisdom shine you to see as they really are. So you need to discern mentality caused by visible object, caused by smell, caused by taste, caused by tangible object, caused by sound, caused by mind object. Both wholesome and unwholesome. So at that time, you know, you see ultimate mentality and materiality. Seeing, knowing and seeing the ultimate mentality and materiality means knowing and seeing the first noble truth. You get it? What is the first noble truth? Sankitena panchu parane khanda dukkha. In brief, 5 clinging aggregates are called the suffering. 5 clinging aggregates. So 5 clinging aggregates and mentality and materiality, they are the same. Okay? So 5 clinging aggregates. One is materiality aggregate. 4, they are mentality aggregates. For that reason, 5 aggregates and nama, rupa, they are the same. So if you know, if you see ultimate mentality and materiality, you realize the first noble truth. What did the Buddha say? The one who is concentrated will know, will see the 4 noble truths as they really are. Now, after having developed concentration, you practice materiality meditation, practicing 4 elements, and you proceed mentality meditation. But here I want all of you to understand why many nowadays, why do many teachers nowadays say it is impossible to know and see such very deep and profound ultimate mentality and materiality? There are many teachers, those who talk about this. Small tiny particles impossible to see nowadays. Mental process impossible to see nowadays. It is just what the Buddha can see, what the Buddha can know. Do you agree with them? Is it true? What they are telling, is it true? Yes, I say it is true from their standpoint. Why? They didn't encourage anybody to develop concentration. They themselves also don't develop concentration. Their standpoint is having no concentration. The Buddha said, the one who is concentrated knows and sees the Dhamma as they really are. But they don't develop concentration, that's why they cannot know, they cannot see as they really are. Is it true or not? True. True from their standpoint, but only it is not really true. Because those who have developed concentration, they know, they see them as they really are. That's why, if you don't develop concentration, you will never get the opportunity to remove your doubt about them. I will agree with you that you cannot know and see them, because you don't want to develop concentration. That's why I will agree with your point of view. I will not argue with you. Why? You didn't follow the words of the Buddha. But if you follow the words of the Buddha, you will know, you will see them, or the 4 noble truths, as they really are. So another, mentality is very deep and profound. How can we see these mental processes? Impossible. So, there is Anubhada Sutta, expounded by the Buddha. So there, the Buddha directly explained what the Venerable Sariputra can do. Venerable Sariputra can discern each of the mentality one by one. So, in the dispensation of the Buddha, among all Buddha's disciples, Venerable Sariputta, his, yes, foremost his wisdom is the greatest of all among all the disciples except the Buddha. So some may complain, Venerable Sariputta can discern mentality one by one because he has very great wisdom, very sharp wisdom. Not because of this, commentary explained clearly, but because Vuttha Ramananan, Prekita Daya, because he could discern object and base together. That's why he could discern mentality one by one. Do you get what I meant? Many, I think you don't get what I mean. Not because Venerable Sariputta has very sharp wisdom. He could discern mentality one by one. Just because he could discern base and object together. That's why he had the capability to discern mentality one by one. What are the base? What are the object? What is a base and what is an object? So, I told all of you, materiality arises in the form of very tiny small particles. So if you discern 4 elements in your ear door, you will just see very tiny subatomic particles which are arising and perishing. So now you see me because you have you have eye sensitivity. Eye sensitivity, you will see in the form of very tiny small particles in your eyeball. So, you have discerned what is eye sensitivity. So you know the base. Eye sensitivity means eye base. So visible object is object. So when you see visible objects impinges on the eye sensitivity. Because of this reason, also visible object impinges on the bhavanga. Right? Because one object impinges two doors. Because Venerable Sariputta can discern base and object. That's why he could discern mentality. So we also teach our disciples because they can discern both base and object. That's why they can discern mental process. In each mental process, there are many mind movements. Do you remember what is mind movement? One tit is one mind movement. In each mind movement, there are consciousness and associated mental factors. In Pali, it is called citta and cetasika. So in every mind movement, consciousness cannot arise alone. It arises together with the associated mental factors. So in one mind movement, at least there are 8 mentality. 1 is consciousness, 7 is associated mentality Altogether 18 numbers. So now, as I have told all of you, now you are listening to the Dhamma. Now in your mind, wholesome mentality arises in you. So now in you, there are altogether 34 mental factors. One is consciousness. 33 is associated. Altogether 37. If you have discerned based on object, you are able to discern mentality one by one. But if you don't discern based on object, or if you can't discern them, you cannot even see the mental process that I have demonstrated to all of you. Without the concentration, impossible. That's why, following the explanation appear in the commentary, by discerning object and base, one can discern mentality one by one. That's why if you all want to know and see the mentality, you all need to. What do you need to do? You all need to develop concentration. And you all need to discern base and object. Just by developing concentration, you cannot understand them. You need to practice under the guidance of qualified teachers. You need good friends. Actually, we are your good friends. Buddha is our best friend. Okay? We are teaching as a good friend for all of you. Without the help of Buddha, we cannot understand. Without the help of us, you cannot understand too. Okay? That's why you need proper guidance. It is very deep and profound. There is no any university in the world where you can learn this. Only Buddhist university. Also, not all Buddhist university, only where they teach according to the Buddha. Okay? So if it is so, if you see ultimate mentality and materiality, you see the first noble truth. So there are inside knowledges. Knowing and seeing the first noble truth is knowing and seeing ultimate mentality and materiality. That this is a knowledge of discerning ultimate mentality and materiality. In Pali, Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana. So after knowing and seeing the first noble truth, you need to proceed to know and to see the second noble truth. What is the second noble truth? The origin of suffering, or the cause of suffering. So, if it is so, suffering, the first noble truth, the suffering, where did the suffering start in this very life? Where did and when did? So I should start, when did the suffering arise? Suffering start in this very life. Yeah, in the mother womb, at the beginning stage in the mother womb. This is the time the suffering started in this very life. At the beginning stage of this life. In your mother womb, the time you took conception in your mother womb, ultimate mentality and materiality arose at that time. This is the starting point of suffering in this very life. If it is so, the cause of suffering, where would it be? Or when would it be? The suffering started in your mother womb, at the beginning stage in your mother womb. If it is so, when would the cause of suffering be? In this very life or in the past? In this life or in your past? Must be in the past. Eh? Or desire for craving. Yeah. Anyway, my question is, when did the cause of suffering arise? In this very life or in the past? Must be in the past. Because the beginning stage is in your mother womb, the time you took conception in your mother womb. That's why the cause of this suffering was in the past. Exactly to say, the object that appear at the near-death moment of previous past life decide your present existence. For sure, all of us, the object that appear at the near-death moment of all of us was wholesome. That's why we were born as humans. Generally, we can understand the near-death moment of all of us were wholesome. But you don't know exact karma. To know it or to know them, you need to practice. So if you see the first noble truth, ultimate mentality and materiality, you have right condition to know and to see the second noble truth, the origin of suffering, the cause of suffering that arose at the near-death moment in your previous past life. So now I will share with all of you how we teach our disciples to know and to see the second noble truth. Do you want to know? So I'm going to share with all of you about one of the meditators. So in this life, she is a lady. So she could practice meditation well. She could develop concentration deeply. She could develop absorption, concentration. As the Buddha said, the one who is concentrated knows and sees the Four Noble Truths as they really are. And she was instructed to continue practicing the First Noble Truth. It is to know and to see ultimate mentality and materiality. So I will repeat, when someone knows, someone sees ultimate mentality and materiality, imagine when they close their eyes, they don't see their body, they just see small tiny particles in their body. When they hear the sound, They just see mental processes which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. So, their vision is clear. At that time, they could discern mentality 5 minutes ago. Nama Rupa of 5 minutes ago. Nama Rupa of 1 minute ago also possible. Can you discern your mentality of 1 minute ago? Can you? You can't. Why? Because you have no concentration. Because you haven't penetrated ultimate mentality and materiality. That's why you can't see. You can't discern. Even the mentality that has been perished just 1 second ago, 1 minute ago, 5 minutes ago is very difficult for those who haven't developed concentration. But for those who have developed concentration and those who have practiced Nama and Rupa meditation, so they are instructed to discern. After having developed concentration, they need to discern ultimate mentality and materiality which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. So they are instructed mentality and materiality of 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Also, suppose they are going to discern now. So 1 minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, also the time you started listening the Dharma, you can discern Nama Rupa of that time. And also you can discern Nama Rupa of the time you did chanting. What mentality arose in you at that time? You can discern. And also Nama Rupa of this evening, Nama Rupa of this afternoon, the time you have your lunch. So you will see attachment, greedy. And then you can discern Nama Rupa of this morning and the day before yesterday. So 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So if you are 30, you need to discern backwards for 30 years. Okay, 30 years ago. At that time, so if you discern backwards, you will see your young age because you are discerning backwards, right? So you see your image, young image. Do you want to miss? Are you missing? Do you want to see your young age again? If you imagine, very difficult, but when you discern, you will see them. But image is not important. When you see your young image, you will be instructed to discern 4 elements to the image. So you will see just very tiny small particles. And you should discern using Nama Rupa method backwards. If you are 30 years old, you need to go up to 30 years. If you are 60 years old, you need to go up to 60 years. And you will see very young, newly born baby. Okay? And then you should discern backwards. Because just Nama Rupa. Why could meditators discern? Here I want to share with all of you too. Now, you practice meditation. You remember many things what you have done, right? Why could you remember? You have intentionally remembered them? No. Whatever we have done in our life, whether good, whether bad, after we have done it perished, leaving karmic force behind. This is the point. Okay? Whatever we have accumulated, whether wholesome, whether unwholesome, after we have accumulated, they perished, leaving the force of karma behind. So it is with us. They lie hidden as a latent. When there is right conditions, it appear again. Okay? That's why it is with all of you. Even 30 years ago, what you have done 30 years ago, it is in your mental continuum. Lie hidden in your mental continuum. Even when you were very young, what you have done, they lie hidden as a karmic force, like a potentiality to grow. For that reason, when you meditate, so you remember this and that. Sometimes the meditators come and reported me, Monday, I felt very surprised. What I have done 60 years ago, it appeared again. They are now already 70. Okay? Why? Because of karmic force that has been left behind in our mental continuum. That's why, if you can discern ultimate mentality and materiality, you could discern most of them again. You get it? Okay. So, and then you reach the stage you are very newly born baby, and then you descend backwards. So you enter the mother womb. You see just nama rupa arising and perishing. So you descend backwards gradually, and you reach the beginning stage in your mother womb. So that yogi has been instructed to do like this. And then she reached the beginning stage in this very life in her mother womb. So she just see mentality and materiality at the beginning stage in this very life in her mother womb. So those who are going to be reborn as a boy, so since at that time, female or male sex decade klapa, sex decade materiality or small tiny particles started at that time. Not only after a few months, since at that time, our karma make difference. Whether we are going to be reborn as a man, since the beginning stage in your mother womb, they appear. So, now I will give an example. So please look at me. So this is the beginning stage in your mother womb. You see just nama and rupa. There is no gap between. This is dead consciousness. This is rebirth linking consciousness, the beginning stage in your mother womb. This is dead consciousness. So this is near death. So if you reach this beginning stage in your mother womb, even though we are talking about present and past, very close. So when you see the ultimate mentality and materiality that arose at the beginning stage in your mother womb, wishing to know, wishing to see what is the causes of this ultimate mentality and materiality, so that meditator was instructed to descend backwards using nama rupa method. And what did she see? She see the near-death object. The near-death object that appeared in her mind was offering fruits to a bhikkhu? Is it wholesome or unwholesome? So offering fruits to a bhikkhu. So at that time, she saw two persons, right? One is a lady who was offering fruits. Another is a bhikkhu. Which one do you want to be? But you cannot do like this. I want to be a bhikkhu, not a lady, not like this. You cannot do. So she was instructed. Who was she? Okay? So if you have no concentration, and if you don't know how to discern ultimate mentality and materiality, you cannot check who was related to you. Now before explaining, I will give an example. So, brother, now what is happening in your mind? So, does sister know what is happening in his mind? Do you know? Brother, do you know what is happening in her mind? No, but do you know what is happening in your mind? Yes. Do you know what is happening in your mind? Yes. So in the same way, so she was instructed to check which one is related to her life. So when she discerned nama and rupa of a bhikkhu, a receiver, she didn't see any connection between. Like you, brother, cannot know the mentality of the sister, or the sister cannot know the mentality of the brother, because there is no connection. So she saw that bhikkhus is not related to her life. And when she discerned a lady who was offering fruits to a bhikkhu, when she discerned nama and rupa of that lady, she saw there is a connection. If that lady feel happy, if that lady felt happy, she feel happy here. If that lady feels sorry, she feels sorry here. Because there is a connection. Only at that time she can make a decision, oh, this is related to my life. Okay? And then she was instructed to discern more. And then she saw that that lady was a village lady, an uneducated village girl, village lady. So when she make an offering, she make a wish. Because of this offering, may I be born as an educated city lady. And then in this very life, she was born in a city and she became an educated city lady. I think all of you have made such aspiration, I think. Similar, maybe what karma you should find out. Okay? So we taught meditators at least 5 past lives. Because the central teachings of the Buddha is law of karma. So how important to discern cause and effect? How important to know and to see the second noble truth? Buddha said, you and I wander in the rounds of rebirth. You and I can't make an end of suffering because of not knowing, not seeing the dependent origination. What did the Buddha say? Because of not knowing the dependent origination, you and I can't make an end of suffering. For that reason, whoever would like to make an end of suffering, must know, must see the dependent origination, which are cause and effect. So, quoting the words of the Buddha, commentary explains, if we don't know, if we don't see dependent origination, impossible to make an end of suffering even in the dream. Okay? It is very important. Without knowing, without seeing the second noble truth, you can't expect to make an end of suffering. Do you want to know? Do you want to see your past lives? The main purpose is to understand karma and its result. And you will fortunately see in your past life, you might be sometime a very rich person. Sometimes even you are a king. Sometimes you were born in the celestial realm. Sometimes you were born in the Brahma realm. But sometimes you see you are animal. So when you see an existence in the 404 states, at the time you get the opportunity to check what is the cause of this existence. This is a bad destination. So you realize at the near-death moment, the karma that appear, it was not wholesome. It is unwholesome. So I want to share with all of you about one of the disciples. So in one of his past lives, he was a king. He was a king. So whenever she wandered in the palace, so he saw a beautiful cow that was fed in the palace. So every time he went there, he saw many other things, also he saw this cow too. As you know, sometime in our life, we see birds, oh, very beautiful. You see dog, oh, very good. Okay? You attach. So our mind is very, very tricky. Sometimes we like what is not good. Sometimes we dislike what is good. Suppose someone in the prison, so from a small window, he or she saw a bird flying outside. Oh, bird, better than my life. Okay? Such thought may arise in a certain person. Because of this reason, it can be the object that appear at the near-death moment, if it is strong enough. Now the king, so when he discerned his past life, at the near-death moment of the king was not any other wholesome karma. The image of the cow appeared. Because our mind is very quick. Which object appear? So you can't say. According to your fortune. But I don't want you to be the one who rely just on fortune. I want you to be the one who can rely on your mindfulness, your concentration, your wisdom, and do the meditation objects. If you can pay attention according to your capability at the near-death moment, it will be very good. So now, for the king, at the near-death moment, the object was a cow. So when he passed away, he was born as a bull. Okay? So because of attachment to animal's life. For that lady, because of wholesome karma that appear at the near-death moment, offering fruits to a bhikkhu. So this is wholesome. Cow that appear because of attachment to. That's why it is unwholesome. And also another yogi. So I don't say a certain one of others, of another yogi. So in that life, he was a rich man. He was a rich man. But when he was about to die, his sons and daughters are quarreling related to heritage. Okay? So this is happening in the human realm. So when the father was about to die, they are quarreling. So what will happen? It causes mind state, the mind state of father. So it affects very much. He felt very sorry because of hearing this. And then as a rich man, he died. Also he felt very angry with what his sons and daughters are doing. So after he died, he was born as a snake. Okay? Rich man, next life a snake. A king, next life a bull. What do you want to be? That's why life is ups and downs. So only when you see your past life, so you feel sense of urgency, because life is nothing. So good begets good, bad begets bad. Ups and down, ups and down. Be careful, now you are a good man. Next life, what are you going to be? Are you going to rely on your fortune? So it is not sure. That's why I want all of you train your mind. So in this way, we taught our disciples to know the first noble truth and the second noble truth. So here, all of you understand what are the objects of insight meditation. This is very important, because you all have practiced vipassana long time ago under the guidance of some teachers, including me. But do you know what are the objects of vipassana? I believe many of you don't know. Even me, long time ago, I don't know, I didn't know too. So according to the Buddha's teaching, the objects of insight knowledge, they are the first noble truth and the second noble truth. Okay? First noble truth, it is ultimate mentality and materiality. Second noble truth, it is causes and their effects. Without knowing and seeing the first noble truth and the second noble truth, you cannot practice insight meditation. So nowadays, many insight meditation, vipassana meditation center. So after you entering meditation hall, what do? You practice, you contemplate impermanent suffering non-self. Without knowing, without seeing the first and the second noble truth. That's why you cannot practice vipassana in this way. If you practice like this, it is not the way the Buddha taught. It is the way nowadays, the teacher nowadays taught. It is the tradition of the teachers, not according to the Buddha. For that reason, if you want to practice the real vipassana taught by the Buddha, first, you must be the one who see the first noble truth. And then, you need to see the second noble truth. At that time, you are ready to proceed insight meditation. So when you are going to start insight meditation, first of all, the Buddha taught, seeing the arising and perishing of ultimate materiality. Door by door. Eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, body door, and mind door. Because you see just very tiny small particles which are arising and perishing. So, small particles are not the ultimate materiality. Earth, water, fire, wind, such as hardness, roughness, heaviness, heat and cold, flowing, cohesion, pushing, supporting, color, smell, taste. These are ultimate materiality. Seeing the arising and perishing of ultimate materiality together with small tiny particles, you contemplate impermanent suffering non-self. As they are arising and perishing, they are impermanent. As they are subject to suffering, they are suffering, dukkha. So after they arise according to their cause, they perish. You can't say not to arise. You can't say not to perish. They are out of your control. That's why they are non-self. So you need to repeatedly contemplate impermanence. You need to repeatedly contemplate suffering. And you need to repeatedly contemplate non-self. See, arising and perishing of ultimate materiality, both internally, externally. As you have discerned your past, you need to include past ultimate materiality too. Actually, from the ultimate point of view, past also just nama rupa. Present, just nama rupa. Internal, just nama rupa. External, just nama rupa. Future, just nama rupa. So your vision is clear at that time. So only at that time you understand how to do in other postures. So at that time, if you do walking meditation, standing somewhere, develop concentration, and with closed eyes you walk, you don't see your whole body. You just see very tiny small particles. When you walk, you don't see your feet. You just see arising and perishing of ultimate materiality. Only at that time, you know how to practice iddhiyapata. How to practice in every four postures. If you bend your hand, stretch, you just see small tiny particles which are arising and perishing. So if you turn back, if you look straight, if you sit down, if you lie down, if you walk, in every four postures, you just see the arising and perishing. Only at that time you know Gicchando wa gicchando midipa janadi. You know, you comprehend. Really, you are walking. When you walk, do know that you are walking. But you don't see your body. You just see small, tiny particles which are rising and perishing. Only at that time, you understand how to do when you do walking, when you do sitting. Not just, I'm sitting, not this way. Now I'm walking, not this way. I'm hearing, not this way. When you hear, you see the mental process. You need to go up to this stage. Only then you will understand what the Buddha taught. But nowadays, just they are practicing on the words. If you hear, know that you are hearing. How to do? Hearing, hearing, hearing. Not this, not like this. When you hear, the sound impinges to ear door and mind door. Mental process arises. If it is wholesome, also arising and perishing. If it is unwholesome, also arising and perishing. Only at that time you understand how to practice with hearing. Also how to do with walking, how to do with touching, how to do with your feeling. Okay? And then after discerning, after contemplating impermanent suffering non-self, seeing the arising and perishing of ultimate materiality, both internally, externally, past, present, future, you need to continue on nama. Nama, both internally, externally, past, present, future, wholesome and unwholesome. They are arising and perishing rapidly. Seeing them, seeing the arising and perishing of nama, you contemplate impermanent suffering non-self. And then nama, rupa together. And then each aggregate, 5 aggregates. Each aggregate first. And then 5 aggregates together. So you need to do past, present, future, near, far, external, internal, external, gross, subtle, superior, inferior. Everything you need to do. So in this way, if you practice, and then after that you need to continue udayabhaya jnana. Udayabhaya jnana means emphasizing on arising phenomena, and then perishing phenomena, and then arising and perishing together. So I will not explain in very detail now. So after udayabhaya jnana, it's emphasizing on arising phase, arising phenomena, and perishing phenomena. And if it is the right time to continue, you will be instructed to practice bhanga jnana. Bhanga jnana means emphasizing on the perishing. You ignore the arising. Not that there is no arising, just you ignore. Because your insight knowledge becomes mature, that it is the right time to emphasize contemplating impermanent suffering non-self, seeing the perishing. Because of seeing perishing all the time, whether past, whether present, whether future, whether rupa, whether nama and rupa, whether wholesome, whether unwholesome, all they are arising and all they are perishing. That's why you feel fear of them. You feel fear of them. And then you want to free from them. Because you are seeing the perishing all the time. You want to free from such conditioned dhamma which are perishing rapidly all the time. So as you see perishing all the time, at that time this understanding arose in you. Where there is perishing, there will be where there is no perishing. So nibbana is where there is no arising and perishing. So because of seeing these conditioned dhamma rapidly, repeatedly, all the time, the desire to make free from this conditioned dhamma will arise in you. And if you continue practicing vipassana, contemplating impermanent suffering non-self, seeing the perishing of conditioned dhamma, you will attain the knowledge of discerning equanimity towards formation. It is saṅkhārupekඛa jnana. So at that time, your mind is very firm. No fear, no sorrow, but you accept the true nature of conditioned Dharma. So your mind is fixed on conditioned Dharma, those which are perishing rapidly all the time. So at that time, if you engage practicing diligently in every four postures, your insight knowledge mature, path knowledge will arise. So path knowledge arises taking Nibbana as an object. So the first path knowledge removes the three bonds or the three fetters. Sakkaya Ditthi, personality view, Vijikiccha, doubt. Silabbata Brahmasa, attachment to rites, rituals, and wrong practices. Completely without remainder. So, you have broken the first bond of samsara. The first bond, what is the first bond? That will bind you to the rebirth of 404 states. So you have destroyed completely that bonds. So you are free from these three fetters: personality view, doubt, and attachment to wrong practices. You are no more ordinary. You become a noble person. So you have prevented yourself from falling into 404 states. You have no more born to be born. You have no more born to walk in the 404 states. Understand? You make a bond, right? Government bond. Okay? So, you have broken that bond. So, you don't need to walk in the 404 states anymore. So, at that time, you will never break 5 precepts. You will never break 5 precepts. Even you pass away, after you pass away, you will suppose you are going to be reborn in the human's realm. Suppose. Even though you don't know you are Sotapanna, but you will never break precepts. It is unshakable. So unshakable faith on the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha has been developed. So you have no doubt about the Buddha, Buddha's omniscient knowledge. Is it true? Buddha is omniscient. And you have no doubt about the Dharma. Is it true? Dharma can help us for the realization of the Dharma, can help us for the breaking the bonds of samsara. You have no doubt, because you have already broken the first bond of samsara. You have no doubt about, is it really true? There are noble sangha in this world. No more doubt, because you yourself became a noble person. That's why you have no more doubt about noble sangha. And also, you have discerned your past life. That's why you have no doubt about whether you have past lives. You have no doubt. And also, what I haven't explained to all of you is the discernment of the future. It is also necessary. You all need to discern your future. The purpose is now, every evening, you all do evening chanting, right? So there, two ways the Buddha taught. Avijja paccaya saṅkhāra. Saṅkhāra paccaya viññāṇaṃ. So if there is this way, there will be this. If this arises, this will arise. This is avijja paccaya saṅkhāra, saṅkhāra paccaya viññāṇaṃ. And also Buddha taught, avijja nirodha, saṅkhāra nirodho. Saṅkhāra nirodha, viññāna nirodho. This is a cessation. If this ceases, this will cease. So you need to find out when you can make cease of your ignorance. So it will be one day in this very life, in the future, or in one of your future existence, you may be able to make an end of suffering, the time or the existence in which you can make cease of your ignorance. So for that reason, the Buddha taught how to discern the future, to see the cessation of ignorance. For that reason, you have no doubt about your future. And also, you have no doubt about three trainings. The training of morality, the training of concentration, the training of insight. Because you yourself has attained noblehood through practicing the three trainings. That's why you have no doubt about. And also, you have no doubt about dependent origination. It means causes and effects. You yourself has discerned your past life. You yourself has penetrated karma and ichasat. That's why you have removed all these doubts. If you don't practice, what do you think? Can you remove them? Impossible. Even you, all the ordinary people have this doubt. Is it really true? Good begets good, bad begets bad. Because you haven't realized them. That's why just by hearing the Dhamma, you can't remove your doubt. You need to realize them directly. So, this is a way those who want to break the bonds of samsara need to practice. So after attaining the first path and fruition knowledge, you need to continue practicing vipassana for the attainment of second path and fruition knowledge. So the first path and fruition knowledge can remove only 3 fetters among 10. So if you continue practicing vipassana, when the insight knowledge matures, you will attain second path knowledge. Second path knowledge cannot remove any fetters, but it weakens the strength of the fetters that the first path knowledge can't do. Do you get what I mean? Okay. So after attaining second path and fruition knowledge, you need to proceed. You need to continue practicing insight meditation. When the insight knowledge mature, third path knowledge will arise, taking nibbana as an object. So the third path knowledge removes sensual desire and anger completely without remainder. So you have no more sexual desire, you have no more anger. No one can entice you. No one can attract you. Nothing can shake your mind. So you are very stable at that time. So no one can make you feel angry. You have no more angry. Nothing can make you feel angry. Because the third path knowledge break those bonds. And then you continue practicing vipassana. When the insight knowledge mature, fourth path knowledge arises. The fourth path knowledge remove the higher fetters, the last five. Rupa raga, attachment to Brahma life. And arupa raga, attachment to immaterial Brahma life. And then mana, the fetter of pride, has been removed by the fourth path knowledge. And restlessness, the fetter of restlessness has been removed by the fourth path knowledge. And ignorance has been completely removed by the fourth path knowledge. So at that time, you break all the bonds of samsara. So you destroy the cause of suffering. So you have no more suffering. So you go beyond this samsara. So that time, you have done what you need. You have done what you need to do. You have nothing to do more. So in that life, after you passed away, as you have destroyed ignorance, attachment, clinging, so you have destroyed all the causes of rebirth. That's why there will be no more results. So you make free from all bonds of samsara. So at least what all of you need to make an effort is to break the first bond of samsara. It is to make free from rebirth in the four states. It is to close the door to four states. To do so, you all need to develop concentration. To do so, you all need to know and see the first noble truth, second noble truth. Only then you will be able to practice the vipassana taught by the Buddha. So if you see the first noble truth, second noble truth, and if you continue practicing vipassana, the way taught by the Buddha, when times ripen, when insight knowledge mature, you will attain path knowledge. So attainment of the path knowledge will break the bonds of samsara step by step. So may you all be able to break the bonds of samsara in this very life. Arambata nikamata yunzata Buddha tadani Dunata mizuno tinanalagaran wa kunzaro Buddha tadani pyamyaswa tadana donai အာရမ္ပထအာထုတ်ကြကုန်လောနိကမထထွမြောက်ကြောင်းလုံးလာကိုပြုကြကုန်လောယုံဇထဘာဝနာနှင့်ရှင်သောလုံးလာကိုအာထုတ်ကြကုန်လောဂုံစရောဆင်ပြောင်ကြီးသည်နလာကာရံကျွင်ကိုဒုနာတိဤဝါဖြစီပြီးတကဲ့သို့มิสุโน30နိုင်ငံပိုင်ဆန်ဆိုးနှင့်ရှင်သေမိတေနံစစ်တီကိုဒုနာထာဖြစ်စီကြကုန်လောဣတိသောထေရောဘိဗုမထေမြတ်သည်ဝေါစာကရုဏာရှိထာမေတ္တာဖြင့်ဟောကြားတော်မူခဲ့ပါပေတည်း